Okay, you know this is music for you. I hope you are dancing in your seat. We're going to be starting in a few minutes. Just need to get everybody to come on board as people are joining us. Let the message get out there. I love it when my guests are always on time. They're always on time. This is what I absolutely love. Well, I'm going to bring Funke on now. No, Funke, stay there. Don't disappear. Let me just do some basic introductions. I can see you dancing. I trust you, my sister. You're always dancing. Let me do a few introductions just to get it out of the way. Then I'm going to bring you on board. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Mahogany True Talk. My name is Sholi Obade, and I'm your host. I'm also known as Mr. Mahogany. The show Mahogany True Talk is a weekly interactive show brought to you by Mahogany Productions and Events, and I, of course, am your host. Just in case you don't know, Mahogany Productions is an experiential event and production company that handles production and event management for clients. This show, our True Talk, will focus on everything that has to do with events, from production to event management, hosts, music, and even food. We will bring you the top guns in the industry to talk to you and give you an inner scope of what the industry is really like. It's going to be interactive, so we definitely need your questions. Please make sure you send in your questions all along, and we will be taking them throughout the show. I have my producers on board, Waire, and also my Gege that will be assisting me as always. But now it is time to bring on the one, the only. Seriously, if you don't know this person, then I don't think you live in Nigeria, because this is, she is Ma when it comes to the event industry. Honestly, she is our mama. And so we're bringing on the one and only dancing queen, Mrs. Funke Bucknor. Hey, Funke, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you. I'm fine, thank you.
Listen, this is an honor to have you on board. And I'm going to tell you why it's an honor. It's not just because you've decided to come onto our show, but I don't even know how you have the time. Everywhere I go, every IG live, Funke, every Zoom, Funke, every webinar, Funke, every talk show. How do you do it? Are you able to run any business? If you were charging people, you won't even need to do event management anymore.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
Seriously. Okay. I want to get straight into the show, but before I do that, I always like to do an introduction of my guests. And I
Okay.
think it's very important in your case that people understand levels. You know, I always say to people that there are levels and there are levels. Now, your own is level past level past level. Do you understand? So that's where you are. So, for those of you that are watching, just in case you don't know, Funke Bucknor is a Nigerian entrepreneur. And a lot of you may not know this. She's also a lawyer. Okay. She is one of the pioneers of the event industry in Nigeria. And trust me, this is no mean feat. And she started her event company, Sapphire Events, back when there was nobody there. Trust me, she was doing it by herself. You understand? Was practically the event industry was non-existent in the country. Her creativity and dedication have led her to grow not just her company, but her brand. And you know, she's a brand. We all know you for your dancing and everything. She has handled many high profile events within and outside the country. And in 2016, she was recognized. Oh, yeah, hear this though. She was recognized by the BBC, that is the British Broadcasting Corporation, as one of the most outstanding women of 2016. You know, that's not easy when you consider that there are billions of women in the world. And for the BBC to recognize you, that is something else. So we can't begin to even mention all of her numerous and awards and honors that she has received. There are too many. But ladies and gentlemen, please wave, say hi, thumbs up, everything you're doing to the one and only Funke Bucknor, the CEO of Sapphire Events. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Thank
yeah,
you.
yeah.
Yeah. Thank you for having me. It's a real pleasure for me to be here. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Please, it's my honor. So, Funke, let me tell you how we are here, just so you understand. All right,
Okay.
this is true talk. So we
Yes.
want you to see it as it is. You know, some people they come on and they try and be all very diplomatic and they try and skirt around things. People want to learn from you, all right? Because your wisdom, your knowledge is second to none. Even me, I'll be honest, when I came to this country back in 2013, you are one of the first of three companies I heard about. I mean, I went to investigate. I followed you. I said, this one, if she can be successful, I must model her. Even though I don't do what you do, if you get what I
Yes.
mean, but
Yes.
I had to learn from what you had done. So what we
Yes.
want to hear now, this is the topic, in case people don't know, is pioneering. And I hope people understand what we mean by pioneering. That's when somebody starts something off, they get it up and running, they start it off. You have pioneered, and this is not a joke, everybody knows it, a $20 billion event industry. I'm sure it's even worth more than that. When they said 20 billion, I wanted to put naira so that people could understand, but there was no way I could calculate at the exchange rate today and turn it into naira. So, first and foremost, how are you? How you been coping?
I'm fine. I'm actually fine. I mean, a mix of emotions, really. So very fine some days, stressed some days, afraid some days, anxious some days. Just a mix of emotions, really. That's the real truth. Real truth.
So
But I'm
explain your
fine.
mix of emotions. So what makes you stressed? What makes you anxious? What are
Okay.
the sort of things that go through your mind as someone that runs such a big organization as you do? Why do you get anxious or worried or stressed?
Okay. So, I mean, you said this is true talks, right? So we're trying to
That's right.
really be real.
That's
So
right.
honestly, the thing is, first of all, nobody, I wasn't expecting this. So I will say, let me first of all say nobody. So let me just say me, Funke. I wasn't expecting what was happening. I wasn't
Mm-hmm.
expecting um this situation. And then we're now in this situation. And I'm thinking to myself, hey, how are we going to come out of this? Are we ever going to come out of this? And if we do come out of this, how will it be? There's
Mm-hmm.
so many people depending on business from just working in Zafire. How do we make them even grow? How are they going to survive? I mean, like when I was talking to someone yesterday, I said, it's not even apart from even just myself. There's a team of even the ushers that work with us, the
That's
technical
right.
team, everybody that works. What are they going to survive? These young girls that always depend on this weekend money to sustain their
Yes.
family. How are they
Mm-hmm.
going to survive? What are we going to do for them? So I'm anxious about that. I'm anxious about how the industry is actually going to survive. I mean, we're all going on and saying, "Oh my God, this." We're all being positive, but the truth is, it's making me very anxious. I get anxious a lot, and because I am in a position where it seems like I have to almost, I don't want to say maybe bring the solution, but I have to kind of like set a way forward, right? For
Mm-hmm.
some people. So I'm just like, oh my
Mm-hmm.
God, if I'm anxious, how are other people feeling? So I'm
Yes.
anxious sometimes. I'm afraid, at times. I'm like, oh my God, are we ever going to be able to go back? And
Mm-hmm.
then, of course, some days I'm not, like, because I'm a Christian, I'm like, oh my God, God is in control. He knows everything. He sees the beginning from the end. So there are
Mm-hmm.
days I say, God, I know you are in control. But then there are days the human side of me just says, God, I know you're in control, but how is it going to be? So that's what makes me anxious.
Wow. I fully understand how you feel because it's not easy. I mean, Mahogany, we've had staffing issues. We've had things that we have to deal with. People have allowed outside things affect them, which affects their work and stuff like this. And I'm finding a situation. I don't know if you find the same situation where a lot of people are not actually able to open up to you. They're not actually able to come and tell you that, listen, this is what I'm going through. I need a break. This is what I'm going through. Help me. Do you understand? These are the sort of things that are going on. And it is a very, very challenging time. But I don't want to talk too much about COVID. I think COVID has
Yeah,
been
yeah,
over talked
yes.
and it's also quite a depressing subject. You
Hmm.
see, I had big hair. I had to cut it off because I thought I was doing myself an injustice with my beard and everything. I said it was COVID beard. I said no more. So that's it. So let's look back. Let's reminisce. Let's go back a bit. What
Okay.
made you, especially at a time when there was nobody really doing events and the event industry had not kicked off, what made you go into the events business? How did it happen?
Okay. Thank you for this question. I always like answering this question. So, first of all, when I started, I didn't even know what I was starting to do or what it was about. I just knew that I loved putting things together. I just loved organizing. I just loved helping people plan their event. My friends were getting married at that time, and I just felt that everybody was being stressed out. At that time that I used to see people getting married, they were stressed, you know. And I thought, why are people stressed? Can't I help you do this? Because I was also very energetic. I just kind of thought, I can help you take the stress. What is this? Let me help you. So I kind of started helping my friends. But at that time, I didn't really know what it was, but I knew that it was, I just thought, okay, let me help you. And then one of my friends then, Lara of Just Weddings, she had started event planning at that, just a year before or 2 years, I can't remember now. And she had kind of started. And I just went to her and I was like, I think this is, you know, I kind of put a face to what I was doing. Like I realized that, what it was maybe event planning. I just wanted to help my friends do things. And one of my cousins as well, I said to me that, Funke, I asked my cousin that, this thing I'm doing, my cousin said, start charging. Why don't you start charging for this? And I said, will people pay? Nigerians, are they going to pay for a planner? We are used to doing parties a certain way. Will they pay? And he said, Funke, try, they will pay. And I said, okay. And I told one of my friends, I said, okay, you know what? This is how much it will be. And she was like, oh, okay, all right. And then she paid. And then I told another friend, and she paid. And then another friend, and then they paid. But what was good about it was that these were my friends. So I was able to bully them, you know, I was able to bully them, you know. And then secondly, my friend's senior sister was getting married. So I had planned one of my other friends' own. I had done, I would call it, in fact, one of my other friends, she sent me a message the other day and said that she sent me a picture of when she was getting married. Then I hadn't started charging, but I helped her during her wedding. And this was about 19 years ago or so. And she was like, Funke, look at this. Look how you were there for me during my wedding. That was how it was for me. So my friend's sister was getting married. And I said, Funke, come and plan it. And that was just how I started charging, and people were paying, and then they were paying. They're collecting the money.
So when you look at that, I mean, I think that's how I see a lot of people start now. You know, you go to some family, say, hey, there's a wedding, and then someone says, no, we don't need an event planner because a cousin or a sister or somebody in the house says that they go to events and they can plan and stuff like that. So I've seen a lot of people kind of get into it that way. But when you were starting, yes, you started charging people, but what were the most challenging things that you faced while building up your business? Yes, there was the hurdle of getting over making people pay, but what were the other sort of things and, you know, building your brand as an event planner?
Okay, so the first thing was getting people to trust my services, right? So getting people to trust the services. I think at that time people didn't even know what it was. So how was I going to get them to trust the service? How was I going to get them to realize that what I was offering was needed? So it was a case of I needed to let them see what I was bringing to the table. So the first slogan that we had was, we're taking the stress off you. So we don't want you to be stressed. We don't want you to, on the day of your event, we don't want you to be running up and down. Before your event, we don't want you to be the one driving up and down. When we started, right, there were no mobile phones existed, but they were not like this. Yes, you know, moving around was not, I mean, I'm trying to even remember my car. You know, but people were usually just very stressed. People were stressed. They would be stressed on the day of the event. They were stressed, you know, before the event. They were stressed because they were the only ones trying to do everything. So at that time, it was getting people to trust, getting people to see the value that we were bringing to the table and why they needed us. That was that was the second, challenge of getting people to see that. And then thirdly, another challenge was people, even after they see the value, when you are done, do they actually even believe in the value? So it was like, okay, I can actually see that. So at the end of the day, it was a case of, oh, okay, this is really real. Okay, this is true. Oh, okay, this can work. And then that was just how it was. So I think that was one of the earliest challenges. I mean, apart from getting people to believe in us and use us, but it was a case of trust the process, the value we're bringing. Do you see the value? If you see the value, okay, how else can we help? So that was one of the big staffing later became a challenge. But that was one of the major challenges.
Okay, so when you look at staffing, then you are coming into an industry where we don't have professionals. Now, if I put out an advert, and I'm going to get people that will come from other organizations that will want to join, that have got experience. Did you have to spend a lot of time training people, or how did it work? Because these were people that were coming to work for you that did not have a clue about events and the industry. So how did you manage that?
Okay, so I'll be as truthful. As you said, when I started, there were not many people at all. In fact, I don't know that there was even anybody else apart from maybe Lara, that was doing this. So there was nobody that had the experience, as you said. So I had to spend a lot. Don't forget that even when I started as well, I also didn't have that much experience. So I had to go and learn. I had to go and improve myself. As you said, I studied law. I was coming from Unilag, coming from law school. All I knew, all I had was I loved organ. I just loved putting things together. So I had to go and improve myself. In fact, one of my friends, Omoyemi had moved to England, and then she started sending me books to read. Started sending me online courses that I could take that was going to help me. And she was like, Funke, you need to, I saw this to be fantastic. I saw this to be good. And that was how, because then don't forget that we didn't have laptop. Google was the only search engine. I don't even know how she found it when she got to London, but she found it. She emailed them to me. I downloaded them. I studied it. And then, so at that beginning time, it was more of my experience plus what I had learned. And I mixed both. And that was what I used to be able to get staff. So when anybody came to work with us at Zafire, I had to start teaching them from the beginning. So I taught them like it was a fresh, I had to teach like, because they didn't know anything. So I had to teach, I had to train, I had to educate, and I had to develop. And so that's how we handled staffing.
Wow. So Ade Toby says, or asks a question, how were you able to maintain the relationship with your clients when you first started?
I like that question, and it's a very good question. Now, because first of all, there's some strengths that each human being has. And one of my strengths that I have, and God has given it to me since I was young, is I am very easy. I approach people, I can talk to people. I can easily, when I get into a room, I diffuse the room with my laughter, my joy, my dancing. So I usually relate with my clients on the level of my authenticity, my realness. Let me just say it like that. And then I take them like my family. So I don't look at it as a transaction. I look at it more like it's beyond the transaction. So I will start from the beginning. I started with my friends. My friends were the ones that started planning their events. Then I now started with people that were not really my friends, because other people now started referring us to for work. But what I did was I treated each person like they were my family. I did not see the Oyinbo approach is to be very professional. You just go in and do your work. You have a set time, 8 o'clock. I close at 6. Don't call me after 6. I have working hours. I didn't do all that. You understand? Hey, I didn't do all that. I own was, if you wanted me to come to your house at 7 a.m., I'll be in your house. If you wanted me to come to your house at 9 a.m., I can be there. If you wanted me to come, because I kind of felt I wanted to build a relationship. So for me, it was more to build a relationship and then maintaining that relationship, because I realized that each of the families that we're planning the events for at that time, apart from if I was planning for my friend, I would also probably plan for the father's birthday. I would plan for a brother's wedding. And I realized, so it needed to be a more relational, relationship than transactional. So it's not when I'm done with the job, I don't just go. So that was how I was able to maintain my relationships with the clients. And then I also realized that people want different things. So some of the clients became my friends.
Right.
I bonded with them. They became my friends. They're my friends till today. So that was how we were able to build the relationship, actually, because I believe so much in customer service. I believe so much in client relationship is very big for me and for Zafaya as a brand. We're big on it. It's one of our most important aspects of our company. So that was how I was able to make. And some of these relationships, I mean, I've had them for 18 years, 19 years. Wow. I've planned birthdays for one family. We did 2 weddings, 2 birthdays, about 2 years, a 60th, a 70th. That's 10 years apart. We've done 2 weddings for that family. We've done a lot of things. So we've been able to build that relationship with our clients. Yes.
So that just goes to show, for people listening, the benefit of getting it right with your client. Because if you get it right with your client, you get repeat business. Now imagine you have 10 clients that over the years or whatever give you 4 to 5 events each. Already that's 50 events just from 10 clients, as opposed to having to look for 50 different clients to have 50 events. So people, bear that in mind. Funke, so View Lagos says, how are you able to retain good staff so they don't leave and end up being your competitor?
Ooh, it's like, I love this question. I love this question. So you've asked this question. This is an 18-year journey. So I want you to understand that people have actually left and they've gone to be our competitors. I want to tell you that. So when you say, how do you retain good staff and that they will not end up leaving? But let me tell you something, and I want to say this. This is for everyone that is listening to me. You see, the first thing you need to understand is that when people come into an organization, they're coming into the organization for many reasons. First of all, they want to fulfill their own destiny. Everybody has a destiny. Everybody has their own goals and their aspirations and their own vision. The organization also has its own goal, vision as well. Now, everybody wants their own vision to align with the organization's vision. I will tell you that when I started years ago, I didn't understand this. I was just about doing the work. I mean, yes, the vision was there. I shared it, but because of my personality. So, and this is also, I'm being as real as I can. When you are starting a business, it's very important that you understand your strengths as the CEO of the organization and your weaknesses. My strength is I want to get the job done. I'm energetic. I like to quickly do things. I want to execute. When it comes to the empathic side of work, when it comes to the emotional side of work, I don't like dealing with it. So because of that, I wasn't able to...
What do you mean emotional side? What's the emotional side?
The emotional side is understanding, and this was at the beginning, understanding that people that worked with me also had needs. People that worked with me also were people that I needed to touch base with. I needed them to see that I cared about them. So the way I show care is very different from how people brief. So I needed to learn love languages. I show care in a different way. I receive care in a different way. I'm not a hugger. So I'm not a hugger. I'm not a very patient person to sit down and say, what's going on with you? Talk to me about your life. I'm not that type of person. But I realized that my team needed someone like that. They needed someone that would, I would go to an event. I would plan an event. The next day I'm at the event. I mean, my dad was ill one day. He had a stroke. I went to work. My grandmother died. I went to work. That is how I deal with emotions. So I work. I work. So because of that, I felt that everybody else needed to be like me. I didn't understand. So I didn't deal with the emotional side of my team. This was in the early stages. I was just mechanical. Let's go and work. Let's work. You know, but after a while, I realized that because I wasn't sharing with them enough, sharing the vision. So I assumed they knew what the goal was. I assumed they understood everything. I did not communicate to them properly.
Right.
So when I realized that, oh my goodness, I needed to communicate, and that was when we now started putting structure. This was at the beginning, putting structure in place, putting processes in place, making sure that everybody knew their roles. You know, I had to write a standard of, you know, I had to write how everything worked. I put together a document of how everything worked in the organization. So before that time, people had left, right? That's number one. So second, then later, of course, as time went on, and now people now started seeing, or even I started seeing, oh, this was how it should be. This is how it should be. So I had to go to, as I said, I went to business school. I went to, I had to go to so many places to go and improve myself as the leader that I was. I'm still not perfect. So I still need people around me to help me deal with some of the things that, you know, leaders actually fail to do sometimes. But that was how I was able to help. I mean, be able to retain. So what I now did was, when I saw that this was the way that I needed to make it happen, then I now started investing. So, you know, of course, training, investing, sharing, talking, empowering the team. Don't forget that the brand Sapphire Events is such a, my own brand, Funke Bucknor, Mobute's brand, is such a big brand. So sometimes it overshadows the Sapphire brand, that sometimes your team may feel like they are not being valued. They are not being, you know, so I have to take time to empower them. I had to, you know, like almost like teach them again, show them their own strength, to push them out to the world, train them, expose them, send them on training. We now have to do that. And that's why we now, in our organization, at least we have people now that have stayed in the organization now at least 10 years. We have people that are there 9 years. We have people, you know, and everybody is growing, right? Some people started out as interns. They are now lead event producers. Some started out as interns, and that person is now the head of events. You know, some people came in as trainees, and they are now leading teams. So I think that's making people see the potential in them, showing them the process, teaching them, training, empowering is what has helped us retain our team, and celebrating them. So let me also tell you another thing, and I'm being real. I did not even know that people had different love languages. Some people like that you must acknowledge them in front of everybody. Some people like that you must not criticize them. Some people want that when you are praising, you must praise them, clap for them. I mean, I didn't understand all those things. So me, I would just go and do my work. We have done the work. Which one is all this clappy? But people like that. Oh my God, she's the real MVP. These are the people that are amazing. The real people. Then we now have to come and do that. Everybody will be like, oh my God, she said I was amazing. Oh my God. You know, I had to learn that. I had to learn it. You know, I went to LBS. I went to EDC. I have people, business friends that teach me, mentor. Because the truth is, it ain't easy. So that was just actually how we're able to, I would say, you know, like retain people, retain staff. Yes.
So I mean, I think the lessons for people there, and this is some of the things that we've been having over and over again with those people that are the experts, that are the pioneers, that are really doing well within their business, is education and acquiring knowledge is essential. You must do those things. Do you understand? Then I think a key thing that you said, and I'm continuously trying to work this out with my team, is that you have to acknowledge teams. You have to acknowledge people, even if it's just to say somebody's done the job, they didn't do it well, but you say you tried, but do X, Y, Z, and Z. Don't just say do X, Y, Z, and Z, and there's not also that little compliment on the side that says, but you tried. It was your first time. You could have done better. Well done. Pat on the back. You understand? So, Abisia says event planning involves a lot of engagement. So what advice would you give to introverts who want to go into the business of planning?
Okay, I know many introverts that are in the business of planning, actually. So my personality helps, but there are people that are very quiet, they don't like to be all over the place. So what you do with that kind of thing is that, you see, every time you want to do anything, you always have to look at your strengths and your weaknesses. Every day in my life, I sit down and I say, what are my strengths and what are my weaknesses? I know my strength. So someone that is an introvert, you know that your strength is you are an introvert, you are quiet, right? Or you don't like engaging with people. What do you need to be able to engage with people? Do you need to go and learn how to engage with people? Do you need to go and learn a skill? Do you need to employ someone that knows how to engage, someone that knows how to market? So maybe you are the creative part of it. Maybe you are the structure part of it. Maybe you are the business part of it.
That's right.
So what you need to do is, if that is your vision, there's no way anybody in the event industry, you must have some form of charisma. Because I saw a question here where somebody said, but Funke, you are energetic and bubbly. But how about places where they like to keep it formal? Let me tell you, I have to also look at different circumstances. I don't enter
That
a
was going to be
corporate
my next question to you.
Yes, so I don't enter. So you have to understand your environment. I don't enter. It's not everywhere I enter and start dancing. Oh. Please let me just correct that. It's not everywhere I go and I start dancing. It's not everywhere I go and start shouting or screaming or laughing or no. I understand my people, the people around me, and I say, what do they look? What do they want? Or what are they looking for? So when you are an introvert, it's very important to look for the people that can help your weakness. And being an introvert, let me tell you, there are many people that are introverts that you see them outside networking, but they're actually introverts. They're actually introverts. My sister was an introvert. But because of her work, she needed to be social. Because she was in the radio, she was on radio, so she needed to be social. But she liked her own space. So, but because of her work, so you have to understand that there are some things that you will do because of your work that you need to go and learn. How do they do it? What do I need to do, to be able to make sure that I can. Another thing is also that, let me give you another example. In my team, for example, there are people in my team that are not energetic at all. They're very calm. But guess what? They are one of the most creative minds in my organization. So what do I do? I can enter a meeting. I am the bubbly one. I set the tone. Meetings that I know that they don't need bubbly. When I enter the meeting, it's the calm person that I push forward. So you have to understand. That's what I wanted to say. You have to understand your environment, understand the strengths, understand what the environment needs at that time. Then you can now bring your skill, your personality, what you are good at, into it. Look, I admire so many other event planners that are extremely calm. They're calm anytime. They don't when anything is happening, they're just so calm. Oh, I love them. But me, I cannot be like that. I admire them, but I cannot be like that. Do you understand? And I understand that about myself. It's very important that you actually understand that about yourself. And whatever you understand, you can now look for ways to enhance it and build yourself. So that's what I would say to someone that is an introvert, really, Yeah.
I mean, you're so right with that thing about you have to know your skills. I don't like sales. I'm not very customer focused. My gigi can do all of that. He loves it. I'm brilliant. I like to be behind the scenes. I like to put the show together. I like to do that. So I realized that when I was doing my business, yes, it looked like I was doing business for fun, because I didn't want to get into negotiating about charging. I didn't like to discuss money. So literally anything that they threw at me, so long as I knew that it will cover the cost, I was okay with it. Say, so long as I can go and create my magic, do a show. Then at the time, Bagege came to me and said, boss, we can't keep up like this. And she literally came and she took that whole section away from me. And the difference it made to the business is amazing. And I think that's the key thing that people have to understand. I see a lot of people from Canada that believe they can do everything. And it does not work. You cannot do everything. So just taking you back again a bit.
Yes. Yeah.
As a pioneer in the industry, looking at how far you have grown
Yes.
and how the event
still feel that we just need to still come together as one, where all of us kind of are not, maybe I would say maybe not proud, that kind of thing. I think that's kind of like what I see. And even because there's so many associations, and there are like 100 associations, everybody's
But
like,
do you think that is possible, bearing in mind how Nigerians are? I mean, let's look at our industry. One of the things that we talk about at Ilya, and we started, and I'm sure APM, some of the members might have started, is trying to do collaborations. But a lot of people struggle with collaborations because some people feel that if I bring in a Sapphire, because of how powerful she is, she's going to overshadow my event. She's most likely going to take my client. Do you understand? And no one's going to recognize that I did the event. The same thing with Mahogany. If Mahogany comes in, they might think that, okay, when they take over the show production, it might be so good that people will forget that I put the table setting, I did the guest management together. Nobody remembers what I did.
Yes.
How do we manage that situation?
Do you know what? I agree with you. And guess what? That is actually real, because the human side, see, we cannot remove the human side of anything. Let's be real. I've done events with other planners before. I've done events where I was supposedly the bigger planner and there was younger planner. I've done many of that. But you know, one thing I know at the end of the day, and I always tell my team as well, is that we need to look at these things as, let's try and look at it as if it's not a competition. See, it's not easy. Let's not be, to be real. Let's be real. I've even done events with my colleagues before where I was trying to be very nice and my colleague felt that I should keep quiet. My colleague actually told me, Funke, stop. Why did you do that? I felt hurt. And I thought to myself, oh my God, why? And I kind of felt a bit, I thought, but I'm a big planner, but, and I thought, okay, not a problem. We'll take the glory. Okay, no problem. That kind of thing. So I think that we need to, first of all, always think that it is for the greater good. At any time in our lives, whenever we're doing anything, we must always think that it is for the greater good. It is for the greater good for us to be able to build every aspect. I don't know how to do everything. So sometimes I have to rely on other people to help me get what I want, right? So, but it takes a special grace and a special skill. Let me also say something, because we like to compare a lot with people abroad. When I look at the industry in America as well. Let me not lie. I look at the industry. There are many associations in America as well.
Yes, so
there are many associations in England. There are many, and there are different associations. Some people in those associations also don't work with some other people.
That's right.
Some people also only respect some other people. But because it is not Nigeria, we are very quick to say that, oh, it's only Nigeria, it's a Nigerian mentality. I don't really think it's a Nigerian mentality. I actually just think it's a human mentality, because human beings actually usually want to take the shine. It's just standard. Let's leave it. But when as we go along, we realize that something is for the greater good. You understand? We will keep on, and then we keep on pushing. We keep on pushing. We keep on pushing. We keep on pushing. We will get there. It's not. We're going to get there. We're going to get there, but we just need to be maybe real with ourselves and then push further to be able to achieve this. But really, because even when you say collaboration is different. People look at collaboration in different ways, and collaboration can come from skill sets of different people working on a project. It can come from even in the same organization. You can collaborate with different types of people. So people think that working with vendors is collaboration. Some people think that so if I want to do production, for example, I mean, I won't say, I've never done a fashion show. So I'll probably want to come to Mahogany to say, you know what, we need to do it. We have a fashion show we're trying to organize. Can you help us work on this aspect, the production? I mean, let me give you a typical example of collaboration. Flight Time. I work on the Flight Time event.
Okay.
Flight Time event has gotten the skill of collaboration down to a T. Zafar Events comes in there to do hospitality and front of house. We've done it for years with them. So we will manage the guests and all that. They bring in Lucer, he does the production. They bring in another person, he does the technical. Somebody else does the lighting. Somebody else does it. All of us. And guess what? At the end of the day, we all work together We don't, nobody is working to say, I want to come to the back to come and look at what production is doing. Can I come and see how you people are doing? Can I see what you people did? No, we are hospitality people are facing their hospitality. Production people are facing their production. Everybody is facing their production. At the end of the day, guess who takes the glory? It's flight time that takes the glory. It's flight time that takes the glory. It's flight time that takes the glory. But guess what?
And that's what it's meant to be.
Yeah. So that's it. I hope I've been able to say something.
No, that's perfect. And I think people need to understand this fear of collaboration doesn't work. I know how many events that we've all worked on with each other. Yemi Lights has worked with you on some of your weddings.
Yes.
Yemi and Muso has worked with you.
Yes.
Topi has worked with you.
Yes.
I think we've even worked with you on a couple of things, or we've been there in the background or whatever happens.
Yes.
That's what it's all about. And I think people that have integrity would recognize that it's not the event, and they won't try and push themselves forward. At the end of the day, it's all about making money. We work in the background. We're never known as front of house people. So we actually need the likes of a Sapphire or Wow Connect or Kumi Ari or Myris or whoever to give us work. That's how we work.
Yes.
Otherwise, we don't get jobs. We don't do all the other things. We might eventually, but we don't really do it. My Gege asked a question. She says, what inspires your creativity at each event? So what inspires your creativity? What gets your juices flowing? How do you make sure that you don't do 10 events that look exactly the same?
Thank you, Magege, for that question. I love that question. So first of all, what inspires it first of all is every client is not the same. So I always have to go with that and say, guys, every client isn't the same. So the fact that you plan the 40th today and you're planning on that 40th tomorrow, you cannot plan the 40th the same way. So what inspires creativity for us, and I would also say for me, is first of all the personality of the event. And why I say personality of the event, because sometimes some events are not personal, it's more even corporate. So the personality of the event, what are they trying to achieve? What are we trying to get out of it? What does this person like? So every time we try and study our clients, we try and study what makes them tick. And we try as much as possible to bring that creativity into the event. Some clients love the razzmatazz, some don't like it. Some want an experience, some don't want it. Some like, some just want something very simple. So for every event, we approach it very differently. We must always sit down and think. So for me, I think that one of the key things for me is we need to be better than the last event. We need to be better than what we did the last time. When somebody comes into this event, what are they seeing that is different from what you did the last time? Did you, when your ushers were greeting them, how did they greet them? When the caterer came in and served food, how did you do it? How was the decor? How was the production? You know, what music did you play? So more like every event is more like we want to personalize each event. We want to make it different. So because of that, we have to be inspired to be creative. And what inspires also the creativity is also a lot of research. So I don't sleep. I'm always online. I'm always reading a magazine. I'm always on Pinterest. I'm always like, I saw that they did this somewhere. I think we can do this, you know? So, yeah. So basically YouTube, I'm like, look at this event. Oh my God, look at what they did. Look at this one. Oh, wow. So a lot of, researching, studying, looking at what people are doing, and I'm like, oh my God, look at the way they did that. Oh, this can be done like this. Oh, guys, how can we do this? Oh, okay, somebody wants to say this. Should we say it like this? No, this is how we said it the last time. Let's change that. So constantly getting inspired by just even the things I see around me, magazines I read, books I read, people I speak to, but I'm constantly researching, so that's what actually inspires creativity, really,
Wow. Okay. We could go on with you forever, but I got another question for you. Shege B asked this thing around qualifications. We spoke about it earlier, and he says that, don't you think that by making people have qualifications, it will raise gatekeeping concerns? And I'm assuming that what he means by this is that if we say everybody have qualifications, then a lot of people won't be able to enter the industry. I mean, I have my views on it, but I want to hear what you have to say.
Okay, the truth is this. The qualifications we're talking about, I'm not talking about qualifications of 5 years, right? That qualifications of 5 years that a doctor needs, or 10 years that a doctor needs. That's not what we're talking about. The qualification we're talking about is just basic, I would say basic, maybe basic things that an event planner needs to know. So for example, and this COVID has brought it out, for example, health and safety.
Yeah.
So if you're going to go into the event industry, you must have a certificate, maybe from a health and safety company or something, you know, that has been accredited by the event industry. You know, so health and safety. You must be able to, you know, maybe something about crowd control management certificates. Maybe because, of course, if you're going to put people in a room and there's a crisis, how are you going to handle it? Maybe even down to what's it called? CPR. You must know CPR. To be an event planner, you must know CPR. So those are the kind of things I'm talking about qualification. I'm not talking about qualification in terms of, okay, let me go back. I'm just trying to say that there should be basic things that even if, for example, I have a training school. Even if we say to me that in your training school, Zafar events, make sure that you must teach this. For the people to be able to graduate from your school, it's like university. Hey, let me take it like this. It's like university. There are 50 million universities that maybe are teaching economics.
Yeah.
Economics in all the universities are you maybe taught in a different way. The way they teach it in London is in University of Wales is not how they'll teach it in University of, let's say, Cambridge. I'm just saying. But
Correct.
the key thing is that they are teaching economics, meaning that everybody has some form of syllabus that they are all kind of working with. So that at the end of the day, when those people come out, everybody will know that this person is an economics that came out from this school and learned so. Maybe that's kind of like what I'm just trying to say. So it's not something that is like for 4 years, 3 years, 2 years. You could even be for 2 weeks. I'm just saying. But the key thing is that there's just something I have. I have a certificate. Like me now, I have certificates from different parts of the world for event planning. But guess what? I don't have a certificate that is a unifying certificate from my own country that enables me to stand in my own country and say that I am an event person from Nigeria, and this is a certificate that unifies all of us. So what I'm just trying to say is something that unifies all of us. It doesn't mean that when you are coming into the place, you must take, even if you take that course, you will die there before you finish. It's just that it unifies us. It makes all of us stand on the same level. And guess what? Even that certificate becomes graded. So for me to get to another level of event planning, I must take another course. For me to be the master, I must have taken, for me to be a professor, a doctor, there must have been some things I've done now. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? So I just feel that there are just some things that maybe we just need to know the basics of. For example, what should you do? The stage. Like, look at the stage that fell. If an event planner knew that the stage should be a certain dimension and the weight on it should be so. Don't put so number of people on that stage. Maybe they will not go and build stage and jaga. So the key thing is that standards is needed for the industry, for us to be taken seriously and for people to realize that we are actually very important. Standards are very critical, very critical. So that's kind of like what I mean by the qualification.
Okay, I have 2 more questions very quickly because I don't want to take you past your time. It's late in the evening. I'm sure you want to go and rest and stuff. One question.
I'm okay. Don't worry. I'm very okay here. I'm very okay with you. Don't worry.
So you don't mind coming back again because
I don't mind. I don't mind.
Okay,
I'm actually enjoying it.
Fantastic. So guys, we're going to come back again after we finish. We've still got a few more minutes. So we're going to come back again. The questions are pouring in. So somebody asked a question about how we treat. So this is Chaka Pink, I think is the name. That's their handle.
Yeah, Chaka Pink.
So far, okay, you know the person. My experience so far with event planners is they don't make good arrangements for the dancers. When you ask them, they say the client didn't make provision for that. They want to know why is that so? Why is it that we treat some of our vendors in a very bad way?
Okay, Chakra, thank you, my darling. Chakra is my friend. So I don't know that it is a deliberate effort. So let me say it like this. I don't know that it's deliberate. This is also part of the training I'm talking about. If as an event planner, you know that everybody that is working with you, let me tell you, it was later in life, later at the half part of my journey, that I realized that artists needed a green room. Because I just thought, why must they need a green room? Have they not been paid? Like, what is green room? You know, come me. Do you understand? Like, hello, didn't we get paid the same amount of money? What is all there? And they even got paid more than me. So it was later I realized that, oh, you know what? No, as an artist, they need green rooms. They need to be able to do this. That is actually what is happening to the dancers. So what it is that people don't know that when you are having a production, there's a backstage. And there must be a green room, and there must be provision. So that, and also what it is that there's also not enough engagement on time with both parties, where both parties have said, this is what I need, this is what is needed, and this is what we must have. If we don't have it in my contract, so it's also, contracts are also important. So as a performer, artists, if you look at artists, they usually have it in their contracts. They will have it in their contract and say, green room, provide, they will tell you, provide NSC, provide towel, provide Kinika, be like, with all the money they paid, you cannot bring towel and NSC, you know. But it's in their contract. And the artist can even tell you, I'm not performing if you don't give me those things. So what we need to do is that we as event planners, we need to, which is what I'm saying about the training, is that we need to actually let everybody understand that every vendor that is coming to work with us needs to be treated in a professional manner. So what are their needs? What do they need? What must be done? You know, how, when you come in, where should you be? It's not their fault, Chakra. That's why I'm speaking, because I also came from a place of ignorance years ago. Don't forget that when I started, I was not dealing with dancers. I was doing weddings. We're not bringing people to come and be dancing. Maybe when we brought people that came to dance, it was a good dancer or cultural dancer. So my own is all about stay in that corner. But it's also a case of us recognizing that everybody that works with us on a project is equally as important as even us, the planner. You know, so whatever is in the contract, so in your contract, you need to state it there that these are our stipulations. We need a room to change, we need a room to do this, we need a room to do that, we need a, and if possible, throw a trantom go and say that you're not going to perform if those things are not met. I'm just saying that that is actually why it happens. It's not anybody's fault. It's just it's just that we some people don't know. I learned this maybe in the fifth year of my business, or the sixth year. I didn't know it from the beginning. I didn't know it from the beginning. Do you understand? So I'm just saying that is what some of the things that we need to teach people. You know, it's about also relationships and how people want to be treated. Really, you know, people don't know that all of you are supposed to have green room. Sure, you get. That's why. That's the real truth.
I mean, I totally agree with you on on the points that you raised, because I face it a lot when I go and do events and I try and tell the client, you need communication for comms, you need green room, you need this, and they think, why?
You even need accommodation.
You don't have
you even need accommodation for the artists.
Yes.
Even me, I won't lie, you. Sometimes I used to be like, for what? Can't they take it out of their money?
Exactly, but it doesn't work like that, unfortunately. That's how it works with a rider and stuff like that.
Yes.
So, Funke, you are not disappearing. Guys, when we come back, we're going to talk about two very important things. As part of the discussion, we're going to talk about money, fees, because we want to get her to understand about that. And we also want to understand the corporate world. I mean, I do a lot in the corporate world, but I want Funke to come and tell us what it's like working for the corporate, because I know you did the CNN anniversary, you've done other things. So we're going to want to know what's the difference when you work on corporate versus when you do all your social events. So everybody, please do not disappear. I'm coming straight back. Do not log off. It's going to be amazing things. We've learned so much already. So please get ready, guys, to come straight back in a second, all right? So you know how these things are. They take a little bit of time just to log you off and log you back on again. So please be ready. It's only going to be less than 2 minutes or less. All right, everybody.